mobile APUs are getting wild. Netflix is gonna generate ads with AI, and Nvidia's 5060 review program is even worse than we thought. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're gonna be going over the hottest tech news I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast this Monday, May 19th, 2025. And just so you guys know, we are traveling currently. We're here in Taipei, Taiwan, getting ready to cover the Computex show that takes place here every single year. In a little bit, Nvidia is about to have their keynote, but as far as I'm aware, it should be mostly covering things like AI and not necessarily things that gamers super care about. But in case I'm wrong, we'll cover it in tomorrow's episode of Hot News, just so you can keep up to date with exactly how all of this is going to be playing out. And I am desperately looking to see how AMD is going to play out their APUs, specifically on the mobile side of things. We've already had things like their Strix Halo chips that have come out, and things like the ROG Flow Z13, which gives you all of this gaming horsepower in an on-the-go setup. And I would know because I brought it with me to Taiwan, and I played Expedition 33 on the plane flight and here. It's been fantastic, but new reports are coming out that Medusa Point, which is one of the newer APU architectures, is supposed to have up to 22 cores going on the CPU side, and then RDNA 3.5 graphics. So kind of staying where we currently are at graphics-wise, but then also adding in a new kind of multi-chip module setup on the CPU side of things, with the Ryzen 9 having a 12-core CCD, plus 4 classic Zen 6 cores, 4 dense Zen 6C cores, and then 2 low-power cores. So going into this extra high power, low power core setup that AMD hasn't really been giving into as of late. It's been mostly Intel and ARM and these various other companies that have been developing these high power, low power stuff. Now it looks like AMD is also going to be doing that because they have released things like Zen 5 and Zen 5C, but C wasn't necessarily a different architecture. It was just a more condensed version and it couldn't boost as high, whereas it looks like things like these low power cores might be something different. So it's a little bit of a bummer that the graphics is kind of staying where it currently is. It's not going up to RDNA 4, potentially even UDNA/RDNA 5, but it looks like it'll still be an improvement. I am just always a fan of when AMD pushes the boundaries on these APU side of things and the mobile form factor. I think it makes things more accessible for gamers across the board, being able to play a AAA game on a flight with just being able to power that off of 65 watts and getting fantastic gameplay on the go with the Strix Halo. I'm a big fan of it. And I'm also a big fan of today's video sponsor.
Raggy? yeah, sorry, Shaggy. We caught the bird monster at the Carnegie Museum.
Let's go, man. Great work, Scoop.
Yeah, it's just like right there. Can't fly, so we're ready to do the explanation we always do. You know, at the end of the episode.
All right, dude. Let's get down to it. Like just as I thought, man. That's a Falcon Northwest Tiki PC, the smallest micro tower on the market.
So you're telling me this monster with feathers isn't a bird monster, and it's a custom-built PC specifically for us?
Man, I don't understand what you're not getting with this. We do these reveals every episode. They can also do custom artwork too.
So you're telling me that bird is this small? It can fit a 5090?
If by bird you mean this obvious PC, then yes.
All right, Mr. Smarty Pants. You know so much about Falcon Northwest. Who's in charge?
Easy, man. It's been the same guy from the start. But Falcon Northwest is way more than just one dude, man.
All right, fine, Shaggy. If you've already solved this, name all the case options.
Come on, Scoob, you're throwing softies, man. Talon, mid-tower, frag box, small form factor. Oh, and our pal, the Tiki over there.
Whoa. All right. You seem to know all the evidence. But does this explain the warranty and support options?
It sure does, man. All Falcon Northwest PCs come with a 3-year warranty and 1 year of overnight service. Standard.
All right, dude, I get it. You know your custom PC builders.
Scoob, man. You're majorly slacking, man. Falcon Northwest makes PCs for everyone, not just gamers. Content creation, business applications. You do it all.
That's probably why they were named one of PC Mag's best products of 2024.
That's enough chit chat, boys. Let's see who this really is.
Old Man Falcon!
Falcon Northwest is awesome. We've been working with them for years, whether it's the charity streams, which they've provided PC giveaways for us with the custom SRF liveries, or it's just sponsoring Hot News. It's been great to partner with them, especially with the amount of love that they have for the PC enthusiast community, the products that they make, and just their presence in the PC hardware community. It's been fantastic to have them. Big thanks to Falcon Northwest for sponsoring today's video. Well, while you can get a Falcon Northwest PC and kind of customize it to your likability, MSI is making it so that customizing your RGB to your likability is going to get slightly less bloatware with them announcing their Portal X setup, which will allow you to control RGB all via a web portal. Now, this is not the first PC components company that we've seen do this. Corsair also recently announced something like this, which now gets my alarm bells ringing of like, why particularly are they all trying to shift to this on the web model? Is there some sort of data collection thing happening? Is there an advertising plan that's going to be rolling out moving forward? What exactly is their incentive to not have a piece of software installed on your system, but instead making you go to an online setup for it? I'm just curious how this is going to play out. It does technically make things a little bit lighter weight on a desktop environment, but what's the trade-off here? That's what I'm curious about. And I'm also curious about this B850 mini ITX motherboard that's supposed to be getting shown off here at Computex. Maxsun's Terminator B850 BKB motherboard is a weird little situation because not only is it just a regular mini ITX motherboard that you're supposed to put the latest AMD CPUs on, you can see that on the front it has a 4-lane PCI Express slot, which isn't as good for things like graphics cards, but in case you're wondering where to put that, that's on the back side, which you can see right here has its own full-length 16-lane slot. This is the first time I'm seeing a mini ITX motherboard that has both front and rear PCI Express slots. You can also see that it does have a rear M.2 slot in addition to having a front-mounted one. That's more common on ITX motherboards, so I'm particularly curious what this is going to look like in a system. How do you develop for this? Maybe it's in more compact mini ITX cases that'll allow you to mount the graphics card in a particular orientation. I'm just curious. I want to see what that looks like, and I want to see what deals Reece has for you today.
Yo, welcome back to UFD Deals, bringing the hottest tech deals out on the internet. It's been a while since we've done a Monday episode, so I'll jump straight into the deals today with Hori's self-named HoriPad Turbo SL Wide controller, which you can grab for $11.99, making it $28 off. But then next up, we have InnoGear's low-profile mic arm for only $29.99, making it $12.90 off. I will forever love a low-profile mic arm instead of dealing with something up here. It's changed my world. And then lastly today, we have the Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 Pro with this 360mm ARGB AIO CPU liquid cooler going for $91.49, making it $53.50 off. And hey, with that, the deals are done. You can find these and more linked in the video description down below. But until next time, I'm gonna hand you off back to Brett for the rest of your hot news. Cheers.
Well, Reece, in case you tried to get a good deal on Netflix by going with their ad-supported plan to pay less monthly, you're gonna pay with your eyeballs when it comes to actually having to view ads. Big shocker there, but at an advertising forum, Netflix announcing that in 2026, they're gonna start generating ads using AI. They're not gonna be pre-render ads, but rather dynamically on-the-fly render stuff that will be put in front of viewers for their mid-roll and pause screen ads, which at this advertising event, Netflix said that the ads get as much viewership as the shows themselves, which is, I don't know how they necessarily register that, but this was Netflix trying to tell advertisers, hey, spend money with us. We're gonna have all of this cool technology for you moving forward. So of course they're gonna hype up how much good ads are doing for their business. And if you're in the business of ISPs in America, you're getting acquired, because that's currently what's happening with various different large-scale internet service providers across the United States. The FCC just now approving Verizon, who is looking to acquire Frontier for about $20 billion. So Verizon is allowed to go ahead and move forward with that, consolidating a few of the regional ISP powers. But on the backs of that, it looks like Cox and Charter are agreeing to merge as well for roughly $34 billion, which will again consolidate various different internets in 30 different states, making it so that there are fewer options for people moving forward all across the country. And as somebody who was with Cox when he was in Florida, for that little bit when we ran the channel, but also previously when I lived there, this is bad news. Cox is not a great ISP. That is frustrating. From what I've heard from Charter customers as well, Also not a great situation. We'll see how all of this shakes and bakes up, which is what's happening with the RTX 5060. We're finding out that this situation is shaking and baking in a way that we haven't seen with another graphics card in recent memory. So as mentioned, I'm not going to be covering anything from Nvidia that might be happening at the keynote, since that is happening after I am currently filming Hot News. But today is also the launch day for the RTX 5060. Allegedly, you should be able to go pick up one of those things from a retailer, some for $299, some for significantly more than that, but you won't be able to do that with the understanding of third-party reviews that allow you to get the full scope of how this graphics card performs. But turns out that there are some reviews out there that you can go and look at, specifically from some publications like GameStar being able to actually release a review of the RTX 5060 with a driver that was made available to them, however, under specific, very closely watched circumstances. So in case you're not familiar with what's been happening, currently the RTX 5060 is going to release today, and its review embargo has technically been up since the launch of the 5060 Ti. The problem is, despite the fact that Tech Press has had 5060s in their testing facilities, they have not had access to drivers that Nvidia usually makes available ahead of time so that you can get reviews out ahead of time to inform the customer about whether or not their product is worthwhile. Nvidia has not made those drivers available. Add to the fact that me and plenty of other tech media are here in Taiwan actually covering the Computex event when the 5060 is launching, then you can see they're not getting drivers until they're physically out of the office, making it so that there's not going to be that many high quality reviews that should be going live today when the card actually launches. So there are some media who have been able to cover this, again, agreeing to very specific things that Nvidia has wanted them to cover, which according to those specific things has allowed them to get fairly good performance, quoted up to 25% faster than the 4060 with frame generation, which is pretty rough, but we can probably kind of surmise why Nvidia doesn't want all of these healthy reviews going live, and it's probably because the 5060 is very underwhelming when it comes to its actual gaming performance if you look at anything besides frame generation. So not likely to be a great launch. We don't know enough to specifically say that, but based on Nvidia's behavior when it comes to allowing people the ability to tell you the truth about this card, it's not looking great in their favor. And you guys favored me by giving me comments on Friday's episode of Hot News, so let's go ahead and see what you had to say then. Stefan, the Verge rep, saying, the human eye can't even see 96 gigabytes of VRAM. I always like that joke. It's kind of repetitive, but it still gives me the ha-ha-hee-hees. And then we got Ericon saying, I swear Reece is gonna make me buy my 6th mount this past year, and 4 of them were from deals here. And then Derivative saying, I feel called out by Reece. I'll have you know that I only have 1 backup for my wired G502 Hero. Maybe it's time to pick up a second. You know, when he made the joke that people have like drawers of these mice, I didn't know that was a real thing. Turns out you guys are buying a lot of those G502s just to have around. What are you doing with them? How are you breaking them so quickly? I'm still using my same Red Dragon Mammoth that I got in like 2015. It's over a decade old right now. It's got all of my hand grind to prove it too. Jeez. What are you guys doing with your mice? And I know what I'm doing with this episode of Hot News. I'm ending it. I'll see you back here for more of the hottest tech news tomorrow. We're going to continue our coverage of everything that's going on here at Computex here in Taiwan. The show doesn't officially start until tomorrow, May 20th. So once we have all of the stuff from that show floor, we'll probably bring that to you on the 21st. See you then.